Welcome back to The Power and the Glory. Well, there's one thing that we can predict as Christians. Each and every day we're going to face temptation. The question is, how do we resist and overcome temptation? Well, the Bible offers complete guidance on overcoming temptation by emphasizing reliance on God's faithfulness, prayer, scripture, and fleeing from sin. I've also put together some biblical principles that are tried and tested for resisting temptation. First off, God never tempts you too far. It is said that God will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you can adequately bear. He will always provide a way of escaping from temptation. We're encouraged by Apostle Paul to put on our spiritual armor. And if you read Ephesians chapter 6, Apostle Paul encourages us to put on the armor of God, which will help us resist temptation. In our temptation, we should ask God for help through prayer. Jesus taught us to pray, "Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil," in Matthew chapter 6, verse 13. And later in Matthew chapter 26, verse 41, "Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation." Above all, what we must try to do is actually avoid temptation in the first place. Try not to put yourself in a compromising position. Try to avoid tempting situations that could cause you to sin and that could mean avoiding certain people, places, and even some social gatherings. In Proverbs and 2 Timothy, we're encouraged to flee from temptation, where they actively advise us to run from situations and desires that will lead to sin, rather than lingering and getting into sinful behavior. Remember that sin has consequences, but resisting temptation can bring us into glory. And we see this in Galatians chapter 6, verse 7, and that enduring temptation leads to the crown of life, which is explained in James chapter 1, verse 12. And these can be motivational scriptures. We must walk with the right people, walk with the righteous, if possible, mix with fellow Christians who put God above carnality and seek to socialize with them. We must walk in the Spirit, and you can see this in Galatians chapter 5, verses 16 to 17, which encourages walking in the Spirit as the means to not fulfill the lusts of the flesh, as the two are in opposition. Above all, press the pause button when you are tempted. If tempted, develop the will to pause, wait for the storm of temptation to subside, and in 24 hours that irresistible temptation could well now prove to be very resistible. To finish off, I'll read the scripture from James chapter 4, verse 7, which states, "Submit yourselves therefore to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you."